odi omasem ede amawom. Honorable Afishapa.
I think combat ye minia.
Bebachona apomoko de.
Yamiadom ye.
Ube say the whole year in share.
No correct. The whole year.
The whole year.
No correct. The whole year in share.
It happened this year. But over now, I finished 29 days.
The whole year.
Na yending komo kakra you be call parliament kakra share issues wo honum as a first timer ze what 2 years o third year mu na o koi nyame yadoma yesi bibia a mebo mo 24th and mo free research be ba jo sanete.
Well, Odi ma minchia with you for any especially so my constituents. Because sometimes mama ya kwenya say na yeba or say ye kai omoso because ebi wo maybe ebi beka say one maha nka maybe na wo branch bia when one year then edin kita ho enti mama is such a big platform na ye take advantage na ye di echia omunyina enti mechia omunyina so me wish one official pa aye no kre say ye beko no as part of the comments are every leadership, especially from the majority side, omuma indication say nyamini pair yebeba back 24th. But immediately, Mr. Speaker, make a comment say onu na owo tumi. Beka say Parliament ye call recess yembra sa day and any other day. So nobody has that authority to give any date. Whether indicative of what say day in the parliament, but enti akaka krama mbrena drew through the structures, Mr. Speaker Bema clerk to parliament, ama indication to all MPs through a notice.
Okay.
Says day in a parliament ye reconvene, but ye beko ewo recess on the day that's 21st of December now. Yet now say up till even 22nd and opano. The indication was that 24th January no ena yebeba. Minim se speaker best that date and now obey no earlier or whatever no. To me no ewo speaker nsem.
I see. But yes, I think sir after NDC elections no mo ye share meboa.
There be
okay, you know.
Say elections na nkasa 17th to 18th.
Okay.
And I 12 parliamentary business from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday into Thursday and open.
Youth and Women's Conference, me who work Cape Coast. And the D-Day no so across posted them one na. Say ban experience or lecturer ayina yentimi nyimfiri musa. Yem share the whole show. Leadership amokite why a former organizer pen. Ebinim say agenkwan squad ni. Ebinim say member say ni yepe. Now no yetimi yeto ya ba Ghana for na omo do NDC ni NDC ma ometo aba mo sesisi ano. Omsaka vote na ombetimi aboho ban. Say now who the whole national executives no team delegates for Ekoku Imamo no.
Yo, minu amedasi. Make I say me one person I'm a believer. Me jitum say leadership in here in every situation. Leadership key. Ebinimu to make I say leadership is everything. The rest is just what costs and so on and so forth. Me believe in that, but no political mobilization, any leading to governance as well, was the leadership a play role no? Yen so ye supporters no, ye were a critical role, or was say ye play. No cre say we share team ye one no, or ye team. Mempesa may use it solid because your vice president Dr. Mahmoud Baumia say solid no. Wakwako use solid team ene nya yehunu omonye even liquid but more than gas. Adieno e move from the solid state liquid adani gas mframa afedi yehu ebe kakra no mframa kra no ebe go into another form of state yen feel ne kra bium. So I don't want to use solid. But I think say ya sheda eyi a team on rehwe say NDC ana oman Ghana inkunimdia yehwehwe for NDC no, and any abaya yina ye expect say ebeba behwe yeso no ebepie through the NDC victory. But omu hinya yina yen support. Omuka say here we must listen. Omuka say yembra or say yeba. Omuka say chubuya or say ye responde. But say we impeni for na omuka chubuya na one responde. Omuka say yentina aha na wantina. Omuka say yen yesi because you had some confidence in them and you know say they will go through a lot of consultative process. Omobeye research data ebe drive decisions sa omobeye ebi wo ho a nya omobeye no na oni won nya adwen because maybe wadwen beye wo say ade no yemfamfa benkum. But maybe information any data ewo available to mpinifo a wa we yi won no e kire say or say yedi kan ekoni fa first ansa na yaba benkum na yekọ benkum first. The way our joiner, it could create a kwashiorkor situation. So give them some opportunity to be able to function, and I have every confidence. My only advice to Mpenifono say omuma data and drive it omo decision. Adie bia omo no me based on me penny say yen no see because ye the 2 minimum mawa na wo every platform enti enkoye o ade no me say na me pen there be enye say na me pen assembium it must be driven by data. Say data no suggest say yen ade ni say let's work maybe we leader no kra no wadwen ye wo say nka sa no wo say but the data says say yenko right inti you have to realize that yenko writer ena ebeboa. That may not be popular. That say yenko right may not be popular with some persons. But I know just say because any popular inti we a leader wonye. You can not only be a leader to be doing just popular things. You are a leader to do nyama ebema the ultimate objective no ebebem. And that for us as a political party, say yebedin kunim ama obrea Ghana for echo through the mal-governance, mal-administration. Adia ye so in your sorry BBC or China say this year the seat of government any Daya ye champagne from the Wadani where rappers now go to rap from and so on and so forth. Now and yet just yen own rappers ayebeka say yes so ye the one promote e di akob obi na ofri baby ya man. So we need to have a serious change and we will provide that change. And be mesre say the leaders that we have elected, well, criticism be in here is part of helping leaders to grow, but then yen criticizing in a way ebeye then edin kunimdie bebre party no any oman. So we have selected a team. We hear youth now. 2 former leaders have been retained, and you are introducing 1 new person. Of course, one of the deputies in Ankobium. Considering a Juma Edem Agbana ye no me convince Senka Ujina Yedia he would also have been re-elected. So I'm sure say and the addition yedeba no Ayariga Usman Ayariga another solid young person or if not better the same qualities just like Edem Agbana or also Yeden or Exiti. So it means we have not lost much. Ye tie backwards and the tie for Fruabe that if not the same, even much stronger to be able to help carry the vehicle on. Oko women's wing as well. The same thing. Also 2 incumbents retain, and then one new, and also one deputy anchor. So it ancobium. So it created a room there for one person to enter, and to it looks like the wings, were looking for more of stability, keeping the old. And this is not the first time the youth wing and then women's wing ISRDA. In 2005, then Honorable Haruna Idrisu was seeking re-election.
As youth organizer.
2005. We had Ludwig was also his deputy, was seeking re-election. In that contest, I think Folsom, who was also another deputy from Western Region, was seeking re-election. And Amisumi Rem. So they maintained Honorable Haruna against Honorable Nilamte Vanderpoel, despite late President Rawlings, a supporter, now Odema Nilamte Vanderpoel. And I remember he drove from Accra to Bolga for that conference. And it was Hamatan time. That time, Hamatan, Obaho. But still, the youth thought they were maintaining Honorable Haruna Idrisu, Ludwig, and added me to the team. So, Mena Mbeka Omuhu, and we pushed the agenda for the party till we won the 2008 elections. Yako women's swing as well. Then the incumbent was not running. Frances Esiam was the incumbent. Now, Ono, where Najun said, Onkobium. So that was where late Honorable Ama Benyuado, so yeah, then Obi Remo as a women's organizer at that. So the wings have a way of doing it. But yeba main congress, it was 2005, where Koforidiano, they changed the national chairman, Dr. Obeda Samoa, and brought Dr. Kwabena Ajayi, changed the acting general secretary, who was then paid Zeden, and introduced General Asiedu Nketia, who is now our chairman. Maintained the national organizer, but this time the national organizer was changed. The national organizer then was the chairman. It was maintained, but I'm talking about in 2022. The national organizer has been changed. So it's just almost mimicking Miesi in 2005. The only good thing they say, post the 2022 conferences and congress, party the unity is even much stronger than we witnessed in 2005. Emma Obeda Samuel free party party, and then this time round we have seen more stability in our front. And I can assure Ghanaians, say 2024 dear. For all of us through the NDC.
I see. But it looks as if, say, over the national chairmanship, one for sure and Honche, and Osha trajectory now.
Well, it's only so far through real elections, Dr. Kwabena Ajayi Nkwana, Yatun Swaba, Meka say he won in 2005. Repeated in 2010 and failed in 2014. So he did 2 terms.
2 terms, okay.
The other co-chairman, Yanshadan Tuaba, Ambassador A.A. Munufie, late, and Alaji Isifu Ali, late. The two of them from 1992 to 2002. No, it was consensus.
Okay.
No, well, it was elections, but we're having consensus building. So we agree that so but through elections, Meka said Dr. Kwabena Ajayi na Ukra record of having served 2 full terms.
Wow.
His third attempt, he failed.
Wow. Why you?
He failed his third attempt. So, into me, of course, said Dr. Kofi Potofis by one term, one contested in 2018 for us to know whether say a contest so we now win. Senko no contest ma ulusi and Dr. Ampofo Suba or no so try now maybe we can begin to predict there is a certain trend, but on one contest, so I cannot tell. I cannot tell what would have happened. So
I see.
we wish the leadership, really, really well. We are all happy for what has happened, and we are grateful. Say Nyankopon odi adom ye, and he gave us the strength and the fortitude to be able to go through. Now, my name is RKB. We went through a lot went into organization and planning. A lot have to go into, because assembling such huge numbers, easy. But we managed through the guidance of young leaders and all of us, our experience, we brought it to bear. Emma Bibia Ekoye. Yesunya Bibi out of that process. And in future, if we have to gather like that again, yebeye nyamabia ebe improve process, even the more. But hopefully, say yebeye amendments going into the future, so we don't have to gather like that in huge numbers just for purposes of electing officers. We can gather like that for other things, but for elections in India, maybe yebefa kwan fufuru so aye then aye. So
I see. A quick one na close chapter 1 saying NDC chances set to as far as the new executives are concerned. Whom chances is saying in 2024 elections?
Oh, I think that even before the elections of these executives, now quite clear that Ghanaians have reached a realization. So in 2016, Abana Yekoto, now it was just based on falsehood. In Troa, in Crawford, Echuato, Abaya na Otisus, Ekahum, and the state we found ourselves then happened. It reflected in 2020 election results. It been see that just within such a short time of such deficit a party will suffer, will be able to claw back such huge decision to the point so in some of the constituencies. Clearly, would have been a majority party now as we are speaking, and we could possibly have formed government. But we didn't get that. We went to court. The court decided. So at one point, court said, "Oh, documents here are more nipa no ra box no na se mo be cross examination na mutumi bisa nipa no na ni nkyerɛkyerɛ mu no documents ni be pie afei the due time I was say nipa no ra adaka no ma say menko." Then the same ajeja omuka say, "Oh, nipa no ra adaka no na all the information ni beba omuso gitumi say any right say monko." So a lot of information that was needed anka your friend interrogatories omo amakwenya ama so we all saw it. They made their judgment. We respected it, but we disagreed with it. But we've carried on. Sisia, Bibri now saying, so when it comes to economy and everything, now a wait say a kasa keke, and I know mudi dada nipa, or muchantro, egu nipa so moyenya umbeye, and clearly the economy has been totally put in a mess. It has only benefited few friends and families, and not the people that the economy is intended to benefit. And even ready. The election of the leaders was just an addition of confidence in the process. Say this category of officers are saying ejumano more. Their test for power is as high, if not higher, than almost supported from Ichi. It is players playing on the field. If the player himself is not so testy to score, to win, more supporters, be too testy than the players. Not doing. But when the players themselves, ankasa who say, look, game ye come or say ye din kunim. It is inkunimbi or nothing. We say omwa ekumomu on the field of play, and the supporters also kill themselves from the spectator point of view to make the game an interesting and a successful one. Sa enami hunu in the selection that we have now. That they are thirsty for power, if not the same, possibly even if not more, at least the same with war outside and within the periphery. So I think that they will galvanize the people for victory. And the chairman general or general chairman, I don't know how.
The chairman general.
Well, he was then general for chairman.
Years, yeah.
No, general for chairman, and now he has become chairman. So I don't know whether the title is now chairman general or general
chairman,
who is a chairman also. How we would coin it, maybe or more in the area of security system.
Okay.
Titles, you know. Maybe that you know how to give the title. It's an experienced person, or you'll be or experienced in terms of parliamentary elections 3 times. He's seen it all when it comes to ways of winning power at the unit level. While managing elections at the higher level as general secretary. So and yet new to him. So now taking the seat now, he is coming with a whole lot of knowledge and understanding of the issues. The vice chairman so we have one young man that has been added to 2 very strong persons. Almost here in governance and the party, Jumano has been there for a very long time. Then you have a general secretary who himself is a solid gentleman. The 2 deputy general secretaries, 1 incumbent and 1 new one, also understanding, solid. National organizer, another fantastic guy. His work is cut out for him. Yeah, sure, say party initial, where to position the national organizer very well to be able to help party. The 2 deputies, 1 incumbent and 1 new one, Elikem, so Abem, very solid guys, and I know, say, Omube Boama party nako this in him. The communication officer maintained everybody, his record is before everybody. The 2 deputies, 1 incumbent, 1 new person, so Ayedenaba, Malik Basintali, also another solid and fantastic guy. Zongo Caucus coordinator retained Waye Juma the caucus front. And so I see a very solid I didn't want to use solid because Dr. Baumia say solid. I'm quite careful. Immediately it comes into my head. But a real true solid team will stay solid and move it from it is a insure adane ice block. Solid. What the 2 we in free freezer now say they are done gas. Heat bar now done liquid. Heat bar now better than gas. That is what the Baumia type of solid. But this solid is real solid. It is a block. We can say solid blocks are a solid block and yeah ice block. We free freezer. I will freezer. I wouldn't say a block. Yeah. But when you free freezer, now we real this. So more opposition. I know. To make asa or come at the market. Inflation calculate inflation figures or BBI after when you in free freezer the Juma na then you see really say no you say on your solid on your real block no issue and edani solid and after the heat so samba na edani vapor and go into the gaseous form. So we have a team meaning say party. And Chebia, so this year, you be the 275 plus 1 parliamentary candidates.
Plus 1 EFA.
Plus 1, no, yeah, Guam, say, Electoral Commission, as at now, hasn't concluded the processes of creating a constituency for the people of Guam. And even though Omo own district, and in 2020, the Electoral Commission, Ankasa, release on the 5th, Ekacha one say Omum Tuaba for parliamentary, and that they will take steps to create a constituency for them. Till now, no Omum created that constituency legally.
Emma Parliament.
Emma Parliament, okay. Legally. But yen as a political party, we have gone ahead to recognize that area as a constituency. So were yen constituency executives
Wow.
Primaries we will go ahead and elect a candidate. But we are asking the Electoral Commission, say, they cannot continue to delay the process of creating officially and legally a constituency for the people of Guam. Their district have been created since November 2020, and they deserve to have their constituencies. That is how it works. You can't have a district without a constituency. You can have a constituency without a district, or a constituency with three constituencies within a district, or 2, 3, 4 constituencies within a municipality, or 2, 3 more constituencies within a metropolis. But you cannot have a district without a constituency, or have one constituency in 2 districts. That is not what the law says, because a member of parliament, is a member of the assembly. So, one constituency. Now, there were 2 district assemblies. Which of the assemblies are you a member? Are you going to be attending the 2 assemblies? The assemblies need share on the same day. How are you going to do it? And the Electoral Commission must move immediately to create that constituency. And you recognize it +1. Then, you be presidential primaries also to elect a flag bearer. Because on the same date as agreed at NEC. And the date will be communicated to all of us, all the processes now. But maybe count say Mate narratives, media for me say, oh, this is the first time the NDC is going to do that. No, the NDC are here electing parliamentary candidates and the flag bearer on the same day before, even on a larger scale. In 2015. 2015. Yet we're about on the same day for both
electing flag
bearer and parliamentary candidates. And no
that time no more power.
And no crano, well, whether we are in power or not, the party has done it before.
Okay.
So enye at the forefront, enye kanye. And no crano, every registered member of the party to vote. So even at the constituency level.
And as a party executives.
Just executives. Every registered member who voted. Wow. So we created more polling stations in every constituency. More polling stations. So BPN. A few of the constituencies, because some issues happen, we reschedule to another date. For example, like Ningo Pram Pram. Sunday, the next day. I had to postpone that one to another day. So, BPN. And so this will not be the first one. Sometimes when we are reporting and narrating, we must get things right, so that we know that this is not the first time flag bearer and parliamentary candidates on the same day or date. But this will just be an addition. This may be the first time we are doing it in opposition. So, then you are correct. Say, this is the first time we are doing it in opposition. But this is not the first time I hear as a political party. Indeed, we've done so in 2015, and we did so with a larger voter base. All the members of the party voting and larger polling stations. This time around, 277 polling stations. You created or centers. Let me use centers.
277.
7 centers.
Mebao. They are 275 dada.
Yeah, 275 dada.
Guana beka hu.
Bakuna account. We create another center at the headquarters for
presidential.
For purposes of some category of persons. Bia omube play role. Bia or say they create a center at the party headquarters for them. So Ebema centers, 277. Headquarters, then they can continue to play other rules.
Chairman 277. Am I confused?
277. That means that we are going to have another center. No, Onuka 277 elections. And we make a centers. 277 elections now is 276 parliamentary primaries and 1 presidential election. And no 277.
All right.
But Nyameme can say every constituency will be a center.
Yeah.
For election.
Yeah.
For the for these elections now or
both
parliamentary and presidential. And no yebenya 276 centers.
Okay.
For the 276 constituencies. But you want some category of officers on that day no omu role bia omu ebe play. You cannot really place them under any direct constituency because omu rule bia ombe play. Collation must be done as the elections are coming from this, and some officers must be part and parcel of that process. Ebi in foreign chapters, no, so so all these persons are sometimes placed under the headquarters center. The Council of Elders are to me in to call back to constituencies. National members of the Council of Elders are more on they all vote there. Some national officers who, like I said earlier, are more roles to play out to me and call back to constituencies and now be driving back to Accra to come and play the role of coordinating all these 276 centers. You know, the national center. So these numbers are even less than what we used in 2015. That's all I wanted to drive at. But yeah, be paying.
I see. Now, okay, so center back on a national, no. I don't know. You know, so Mubenya both parliamentary and presidential.
No, and no presidential.
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 Okay. I was young queen, Honorable Kofi Adams and Mote Ninkano. But Honorable, before I may advert, Obasa Kwana because when him say wako sahe, obi wa corner Trinity, no call na bia o. Adi send net ye o we dey lie be him. And I lie wom.
Oh, very clear. Sir. I cannot leave my party at this very critical time. My continuous support and my continuous representation of my people. Meaning, say, in the last 2 years, my MP, so much has happened in the constituency.
Okay.
And at that time, I will seek the mandate of my people to continue to represent them.
Okay.
I've done more than enough to continue to represent them.
Okay. Yanko enim Baheba Center ewa na chemfo ba se ono no ba no dompem yade a otenete de mawo ebia no wabatie hwan ana wanya accident pe kwan accident no fa so ba ni se wo dompem yade wo ho na dompi no ote eye oya okra wo mu a Baheba Center ka chine de echo spinal cord eni amawachia unamo a na wabo mu ase unamo no wachia sabi otohwe bus stop na otihwe na rekwam na ka boss wa ben sa wampe baby papa amfanko na ya sayare ntemo a na baba be problem pa spinal cord den krofo bebre call mo krachi a time enso ye stroke gono madness epilepsy sanso and stomach ulcer beman so amere wompam ene yade nketenkete ahye ni pedue no mu a nanka wo hwe nim se mebo ne din amantimi ambo no nyina fa kopiem wa chemfo ba won se wode enubra ene hama ena wode esa yade ede amao ena afisi obabi eje aya foto na yehwom yade nti o yade na o wachirichiri a mema no nyodadwen sanse your male and female was ewo yakachi a nei yeje aya foto o hwe mom hotom ansana yetimi ayom afro enoma dinkrakra amomo akofie hwe akira kwan ewo tema lashibi ofi ashama na oba community 16 junction Bowles City Hotel yo sanso ena 18 junction uduhom so the same Bowles City Hotel na no onsa ebekan Kumasi fonko atonsu agogo abanya resabia no achi Kofodua fozo ko adweso 205 bus stop ye be Kofodua sports stadium no ene eni nkomo 0244 988 004 ena 0200 226-999. GIAC Consult and Construction Limited. GIAC mo asase ewo oibi bawaleshi pram Kaswa Denchira Amasama na Biase 3 Junction New Jerusalem eno no be Apollonia ena amana here and also ebe Elegant Homes GIAC ɛyɛ project management road and civil engineering works ni nyinaa no ɔyɛ GIAC ɛsan so nsase ɔyɛ quantity surveying nso so valuation ɛna ɔsan so si adan eti ɛdan ho ɛba na dansie ho nneɛma yɛsɛ yɛnya kwan ne bibia saa construction work ne deɛ amsrɛ wo fa kɔkɔ dan GIAC consult and construction limited na ɔmo nkɔ ɔmoa mesrɛ wo numbers no sei ne teɛ 0549 502 0549 504125 ɛna 0548 663073 agbɛvɛ MW capsules ɛna nei agbɛvɛ herbal center for ɛde aba na MW capsules no boa bɛma ma yɛnyina nya hoɔden soronko esiesie ho de ma empa so agodie sɛ bɛkɔ akɔba se bɛma ɛbɛkɔ akɔdopi anaasɛ bɛkɔ akɔpa duro bi na ahyɛ na hoɔden mu kena na ɔde bɛbɔ kofie kɔwu na yɛnwie na afei una wokam na wogyafo wafeeli ne nyinaa no so ɛmmoa ɛsɛ ɔbaa no nya hoɔden soronko ɛmaa no koraa deɛ wotaa no nom agbɛvɛ MW capsules no a ɛtaa boa ma asa frɛ matches wade asɛ me sɛ maa no yɛ montaa frɛfrɛ matches motaa frɛfrɛ matches a yɛ ana musika no yɛtom paa ɛde ɛma mo ɛde saa na nhyɛ no teɛ Venus Gota ɛnso ɛyɛ duro a agbɛvɛ herbal center for de aba ɛboa stomach ulcer obi nso so a wonim sɛ mframa gyina ne yam obi wɔ no tumi sɛ sɛbi aduane koraa tɔ ne yam a na ɛkɔ aduane tɔ ne yam a na sɛbi ne yam ɛbɛhoro na ne yam no bɛhuru saa mesrɛ wo infections ahodoɔ sɛ ɛyɛ dwonso mu deɛ sɛ ɔbaa nso so sɛbi wakɔ public toilet wakɔ akɔfa yadeɛ bi deɛ afiri hɔ na ama nei ɛde nka koraa bɛgya aseɛ hɔ nom a wotaa ne nom Venus Gota no bi a ɛbɛsiesie ahemfie hɔ ama nana atumi abɛdi asɛmpa kama ɛnso ɛwɔ hɔ nom enti yɛnkae na yɛnhyɛ no nso yɛwɔ tuom last stop ɛhɔ ɛne yɛ main office no ɛbutu ɛne yɛni nkɔmmɔ 0246595256 ɔmada ɔmaka bi ɛna yɛde dwumadi no nso ɛba enti yɛnkae na yɛnhyɛ no so ɔnawo Kofi Adams ɛyɛ mmarahyɛ badwani ɛde ma yɛnnuanom a ɔmo BUEM constituency no no ɛwɔ Oti region ɛna yɛno no ɛdi nkɔmmɔ ɛna wie live ɛwɔ Radio Gold 90.5 FM Pampaso dwumadi no so live ɛwɔ ɛyɛ atinta kɛseɛ no so www.radiogoldlive.com platform so no so ɛdɔso sanso ɛna Loud Select TV ɛnɛ wɔn nso so atimi epic dwumadi live a ɛnyɛ asɛm ketewa enti sana hyɛ no ɛteɛ na Bozy Battle sɛ I was then a delegate and a Bozy Battle were too kwan. It was also the what they abandoned. It was a former delegate. Could you turn us watching live from Birmingham? Could you and so share Teteke appear dido so Hanama say good afternoon. Edward Aid say watch how far for Chelsea? Mischief party. Would I do just RKB please say happy New Year to my buddy for me. Just say I don't do drugs, and he will remind you of an interview. Obviously, I don't do drugs. I don't do drugs. Now, I don't know be at the end every ever. So Ibrahim Ahmed say, Honorable Kofi Adams, you are welcome to the studio. And also at the end, Brown Brymans and so Hanum also share from Netherlands. Na okay. Na ose Mimisa Honorable Kofi Adams say Electoral Commission proposal of using only the Ghana card as the only document for registration to vote. No, so far Parliament. Motimia Dinkomobia Fahuana, we Brown Brymer and so message or defeat Netherlands and so the about other Batino of Rotel and Sane Yabora parliamentary duties Mukakra.
Well,
a ban Electoral Commission.
The Electoral Commission, or Mumfa in Shishe, Emma say they are going to use only the Ghana card as a basis for voting because some ways are very difficult to even implement. And I'll tell you in few minutes why that should be the case. Niamati say a more person more proposing is for the continuous registration or say nipa no produce Ghana card before the person can be captured. In other words, they want you to have only Ghana card will be the only means. And sana ye do din ato voter register so ye de beto aba. And that is also wrong. That is also wrong. You cannot take away the vouching and then other documents are issued by the state. For example, untumi nka say obi a ukra passport no enye qualified to use passport as a document to be able to what? Register. Any obi so a wachro ni din da cannot vouch for another person say ni pay minimum, because we live in a country where we know say your documentation system no enye 100%. Afi na ye build your documentation system up. Yet was maybe in some years to come, almost everybody will be documented, and it becomes compulsory. Say, you must be documented right from birth. When you're free woman, you must be captured. So that even if you don't survive to reach 18 years in Ukraine, the records will still be there. Yedrus has stage now, then we can begin to the issue of just moving the national identification data to be used as voting data ain't possible, because not everybody register with NIA baby anipanote. Any baby are constitutionally or you qualified say obetwaba ewo. People register and for NIA where it is available. For example, the NIA omu special center omu ewo 37 Elwak Stadium. So people can move from any part of Accra to come and register ewo. They may ebia nipa ne be use a particular residence. Yemfa say obi a minister or a MP, maybe or the cantonment area now or the baby, or you see ne residence one cry ha ko register sa Elwak registration center no. Meanwhile nipa ne MP for a particular constituency. Over there na we nipa no ni data no beko baby na say nipa no. In terms of voter register, people choose to go where they actually want their vote to be, and it qualifies to be there. So these two data, and yes, same. Utumika say, okay, in looking at our situation, ye say, ubia ye betroni dinya wa ye register should have this document. But Utumika say, ubefa data na ewo a particular district, is what will serve as the basis for voting. And the Ubami constituency, maybe it's a nipa 10,000 per eno mwachro mudin ewo NIA. Those are the only ones that will vote to elect an MP in my constituency. It doesn't work that way. So enye applicable. It cannot work. So the Electoral Commission should stop proposing what is difficult to be done.
But some you saw the first proposal by.
Well,
what has happened to that?
Omuba engagement with the committee on subsidiary legislation in relation to this matter, and there were no conclusion. They say omunko now omunsanko ye omijuma nombra onsambra. The speaker has made it very clear. Say the Electoral Commission should not and cannot bring any CI to be late without having an engagement with or no, Mr. Speaker. And in standing orders, I cannot immediately quote the exact order. Very clear. Nyayeka about the business of the House and said the business committee and now planning the business of the House. Now so and no NG the right of Mr. Speaker to determine what should happen and what should not what happened. So Mr. Speaker has already made it very clear to the Electoral Commission of Ghana. Say independence of institution doesn't mean say they do not have any recourse to respect the other structures or other arms, especially the parliamentary arm. And he, as the Speaker of Parliament, would have to be engaged before any such business is embarked upon. So far, Minty say any such engagement in Akoso. So we will continue to pump sense into the institutions are responsible for collating the voter register and to understand say a kwambia ompese omufano emwa omaino. We cannot in just 2020 during COVID be convinced and be told all kinds of things. Emma yeko register. Then in few months later, no, the same institution almost say, oh no, my and census. The argument many people were advancing then was that yen census in ye census na nanka ya new register. Almost say will have to do it. And who is talking about having a new register and having a new system and taking data from National Identification Authority for purposes of voting. There are me, for example, may register for my the Ghana card at cantonment location using my address. I'm a member of parliament for BUEM constituency. I have my vote in BUEM. I don't have my National Identification Authority data with BUEM. So if you are going to use that data, how are you going to know where I should be placed? Elections by the Electoral Commission also is done at polling stations. Yetro edin ewo enaya yentro at polling stations. We don't write NIA don't register people through polling station by polling station. And how are you going to now apportion people to polling stations?
And electoral commission so on your registration polling station.
Polling station or no registration. Yeah, two abano so a polling station based.
But NIA card over
Omoyano even in cluster cra who control with dia you will indicate which polling station you are coming or where you want to be placed. Omoyano even a number of polling stations under a registration center cra. Ubechero baby polling station potia woko. And they will place you accordingly. National Identification Authority no omuchro edian omunchro no according to polling station. You provide your codes, your various GPS codes in the Kakanwa generate. Those are the basic things and some other information that they will take from you and other documents, and then they register you. Like in my case, and it says here, how are you going to place me in a polling station in BUEM if you are going to rely on Electoral Commission and National Identification Authority on data? So they will create a mess for us. They must not do that. There are enough mess in the past, including denying the people of SAL the right to vote and have their representative. Maumu may create any further mess again as we drive on.
When you document omodi kind of compile the buy omodi beto honoma and no share revocation and savings or say the public elections registration of voters regulations 2016 CI 91 is hereby revoked. If SAL process is in your form na you do honoma, then also the public elections that number 2 no registration of voters amendments regulations 2020 CI 126 is also hereby revoked. Then the number 3 no also despite the revocation under sub regulations 1 and 2 the existing register of voters is saved under these regulations until a new one is compiled by the commission. A honor and Crofon say, as a person, use and trick Ghanaians in the future.
Exactly. Omuba, the subsidiary, I name your hobby. And these saving clauses and the basis of the argument of many, apart from the document Ebema wa qualify say who control within. These saving clauses, were also debated extensively. Say, omu saving clause and everything, so that there is no doubt. But some people argue that they are normal saving clauses. Saying say who be continuous registration or who be register or more 18 and above after the last registration now until they finish going through the process no who ye omo process no so now all the one the new register now that register becomes new.
Yeah.
So the saving clause naturally was intended to save the old register and then the new processes. But the doubt that it creates, another person can exploit say, oh, ya passes here, my who can say, then new register. So they've been asked to reword saving clauses, to make it very clear, say, and yet the intention, say, new register beyond me any war ye dim war ye register in 2020 no we should not be called upon to go and register again if anything at all or more or 18 years and above after the 2020 registration and now almost so now 18 at that time and above now so kwenya anchro mudino should be the ones that should be added, and that electoral commission should be working towards implementing the continuous registration with understanding with the political parties, because in many ways.
Okay. In a minute, Yabasamba.
Say, Masuma Jome, many land for any chakabia. Order for Sawo Passasia Mansu be anyone, Assasia one kata sub edimu. Look no further. Hearts Builders Real Estate, ever sorted out. Yawansa Sinibi was Shine Hills, 13,000 cities, Chopoli 20,000, Ningo Pram, plot size and a 70 by 100, by a deposit of 4,000 Ghana cities. Diakano, yes, spread them on it's Yanekaka, Pusumi Siatem, who assassin the baby, who perceive Besidan Esisumawa. Hearts Builders Real Estate, your right choice. Yet on plumbing materials, bia, ye delivery, our and cry anytime. Yes, so your cleaning services, BAB, Boho, ye too, a Juba be for construction, hono. Men kotu sikemu, for one Christmas promotion, ya. Hearts Builders Real Estate at the Mount so. Freya CCR 0555 314 806 0241 665 200. Yawa Ashamai, Yani Mandela Park no ena edi enimshe. Hearts Builders Real Estate. We are your future planners.
Mira, say dear, my one dinner basro.
Yeah, with me who so what dinner ba. Hey, Agbebe MW capsules. And I'm what dinner say. Can ye baby beer? Where the my bread, my ten caniade.
Say Agbebe MW capsules no. Abo mini pedria pomudin. And ama me jina me nine so. We dear, a money me nyina no. Enti ahode no obie bi.
I like that. Agbebe typhoon so the drinking honam say. Won't me di. And now what yare. Num Agbebe typhoon bi. Le beme di kama da sa boni paduano akwo tianyarewa
Venus gota asami yem kro eye stomach also use there bibia da din dada
Venus gota eye no kre one man na siesie ye hyem edi ye hu komose ya ne ani agye
esa ye beko pharmacy herbal and chemical shops dodo aye fre Agbeve herbal products 020-8130-790 and 0246-595256 appeal for abata woma nufo ene nkoda woni mfie dumienu nka ho FDA agi edwede nkrato yatum.
I love Radio Gold 90.5.
Okay, Yasamba biem yakoyanim mene Honorable Kofi Adams ena ewa hanom Honorable yenwura 2022 nim and parliamentary
2023 ana
2023 da fini ashase
ana o de ye review 2022 okay.
Set 23 de mo hye mo dwuma se.
Okay.
Enti 23 no so 22 so na wo 23.
Parliament ejuma no de just plenary and this
I know.
There were a lot of ejuma committees ejuma any even constituency ejuma so eka ho. That's why Mr. Speaker made it very clear the last time say Parliament in co break. You call recess like this and you break from parliamentary work. Afi kra na ejuma no pressure no cry then more. So there are many of my colleagues who are on the field accounting to the people and then what have you committees binuso yejuma ebinumo etutu kwai and the name of the committees are also, and some committees are also being called me say me committee public accounts committee I think from next week they kono ye be share public hearings into the 2020 Auditor General's report.
Okay.
I see. So even before we resume on the 24th, ye be share sa ejuma before we resume on the 24th.
I see.
But who yeah, will be
yeah, and you review 2022, no, but before Crown Sana, no, Alan Cash resignation by na Kenofriata Parliament last year, na mujina the consensus motion by the majority group no year press conference one call most of the motion about there be one call there, but quite more fast one here and a second and yempene a two more Alan call the so no and oil caretaker trade minister. What is our story no? And a news no send how far no be na most on the charges a chi upamona free na kunya so no and the yasama na another portfolio account that na most one yade on kono.
Well, Mecca say we have been vindicated in a way. Say Abrana ye can tre young colleagues are more on the majority group side, especially the 80, 85, 90 later almost your money na akra sana meti say majority leader eka.
Yeah.
Omune mampeni kushiaye. And they believed the president Abraham Okachiro will say, oh, say ye budget new year, na ye appropriation, they will see the back of the minister. No, ye Okachiro will say, no correct. It will not happen. Now, and just because Nipana share IMF negotiations and our preparation of the 2023 budget inti and mampeni or kanya or ka et and that you just wait and see. And not only are we marking time, we have added other responsibilities to Nipa. And also, yes, say, yeah, Gigi, some responsibilities from him. Because no say open say finance minister no kwa. This is the time you should be taking off some responsibilities from him and putting it under other ministries that can manage some responsibilities, so that the focus, be just on a few areas and conclude with so-called IMF negotiations. I will see will be fulfilled to me yet. And examples have been given, say, in the past, in 2014, 2015, DNA year for the extended credit facility with the IMF program. Even though Honorable Setekwe was the finance minister, late Professor Kosibochwe led the negotiations. So it is not compulsory, say, the finance minister should lead the negotiations, especially for a finance minister. Onuaba publicly say, "Onko IMF for China." He doesn't believe in it, but circumstances in Yemen, the mess he has created, he, the president, leading the process that they have created, has forced them to IMF. You don't allow that person to even lead the process. And Mampeni Kura will more reason why our current finance minister and also will lead the negotiations with the IMF. But Okechran will say, oh, well, the presenting budget, appropriation, you do staff level. We've done staff level agreement, we've done the budget, we've done appropriation. We are not seeing the back of the minister. You want to say, yes, the additional responsibility, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Eddie Abeka, the huge responsibility of the very finance minister. So it is now up to the MPP MPs to come out and ask the president questions. Adding Tina but are we going to see anything? Nothing. Are we taking on minor industry and trade serious? No. If we were taking it serious, the minister that people thought were failing, say, onusun samfa sa responsibility I don't think so. That's the right thing for the president to do. Even if you are looking at it from the point of view, say, the responsibilities of trade and industry ministry, the finance ministry, in one way or the other related, the personalities involved also should inform your decision. Say, nipe ya oye in charge of finance ministry. What is his situation now? Is he, has he been accepted by even my own party people to even do anything? Has he been accepted by Ghanaians? What's the confidence level? It's very low. The confidence level in our finance minister is at its lowest. And it reflects in government. And this decision, say, yes, they trade and industry minister portfolio, Eddie Kwakoshen and say, on your caretaker minister. And for me, it's wrong, it's bad. It's perception-wise, it's bad. The optics is bad. Everything about it, for me, is bad.
But and also, does it also suggest President Nana wa sign a jumana wa mo bi a juma so wonye, and it be at the performance of that minister no as a moment na moye mischief. Because on one man a juma no face a juma no or yet to near wa chene so wonye. Ntina mo kan kraze pamono wasi da bisanje ba ko saka.
Well, what is the resource? Adia one man say on ye no say o ye na say ye nyina ekoyia say nka ye bi wa wo beje ye sika say ye mfa ye sika mfa nkoto bonds no ana account no na keep my sika no kra benyi ama ye nya so mfa so afi de sika na ye de ba ye kra no ye ba beje ya de a ye nyanya ye de ba ye no kra. You say okay, ye penu sa kra ni a wo say wo de be ma ye kra enso ni a ye de ba no kra no fa ma ye sa so eno so ye nsanka. This is the results. Look at the level of inflation. Look at the exchange rate against the major currencies. Ya ma in Bank of Ghana announce figures what they work on transaction the figures that they use is different. Bank of Ghana keep announcing saying the rates are more just a little over 8 cedis to $1. Or can insure or car and our property with insurance company or we use almost 11 cedi. So are we in the same Ghana? The Bank of Ghana announced 8.0 something. Now so we can transaction with insurance companies to do insurance the amount 11. So it tells you that our Bank of Ghana say 8.0 something to $1, the CD to $1. But this is what you get when you are transacting business. So who are we deceiving? When I hear that down. When I hear that down. I don't know because I say the Bank of Ghana is keeping the rate and Abuchi has the dollars. So per dollar now, you would have to take it or even official transactions. To say even insurance. Insurance with insurance companies. This is what it is. And you're just going for dollars from the street and now Bibisa official transactions with insurance companies. So if you look at the performance of Sanipan, very clear. Because your finance minister is supposed to manage the economy to benefit all. That's what we are complaining. Inflation is biggest is bad. Exchange rate figures is bad. Or deficit figures is bad. Economy no anchor is not growing. Then what other measure is the president looking at? So the same comment na Mampeni Koye Ewo Kumasi radio Biansana ne MPs now more in the majority group no ebeye omo press conference on the 25th of October when we return from the previous recess. Say they want to see the back of the finance minister and the minister responsible also for Minister of State, also for financial services, Charles Edubwa. They want to see their back. Okoka the same thing. Edien na mampeni huwa ne members of ne 80, 85, 90, and now all members of parliament now omu.
Okay.
Edien no omu omu. Edien no nko hu Ghana for ye ka hu no omu. Edien na mampeni kwa hu the analysts, economic analysts from Professor Bonkpim and others ye wo mainum Professor Gachi no nyina omu ye den omu. What is he seeing that all these other persons are not seeing? All my country say, this is what I'm seeing. There's nothing. And he said, Obi Kachram say, oh, who be binti, and say, oh, ye be binti, or the ye, and we are not seeing it. It is the results out there is that the economy has failed. And there's the economy, if not collapsed, is near collapse. Because the debt levels, you can't be running more than 105% debt to GDP. Becca say you are still an economy. When the level that you are given is not to go above even 70, better say below 70. Now you are 100%. Then what again is left? Look at the food inflation. Edian biom naka. Ninti Becca say nipa no ya dienti yen samfa such huge responsibility and function. I don't think so.
I see. Yansha Parliament, Mujumadi in 2022. Modia call races, if all things being equal, said they okay 24 VBS, either 7 call that date and I say a bit make your man money, but minimum more committees so dear. Montreal Crammer than in runs. Then our Kai part 2022 Parliament.
Well,
then okay.
Make I say 2022 saw some improvement over 2021, especially even saying for General Parliament for the minority group yen after the 2021 approval of appointees yen respect any rating about form in 2021.
Okay.
But in 2022, I think we recovered. And nyama webria eboa Ghana for and to improve upon our democracy and economic performance. Unfortunately, say we were not fully successful in stopping the 2.5% VAT increment now because of the numbers that we had on that day. It was quite unfortunate, but at least we saved the country from some expenses like the cathedral. We saved some expenses like pulling down and building a new international conference center. We saved e-levy without threshold, and which had been brought to 1%. They wanted to take away the threshold and charge every pesewa that you send will be charged e-levy. But we insisted that no, there must continue to be a threshold. So what was saying Usika through Mumu, a day you are sending just 100 CDR, you must be exempted. You charge you must take that matter up. You see, your Maya, you challenge the status quo. So always we get cheated. Because if you say, you can imagine say the year nipa 1 million a day. That is big money.
Yeah, no correct.
So what say you will see now him say this is the first transaction you are doing for the day, and it is 100 and below. Now you charge you e-levy. Take note and make sure say you record that information down. Mayenya 1, 2, 3 person, and let's take an action against the system. Let's do so, because you are not the e-levy. Mampinin signing a new one into law. The old one still prevails. The old one of 1.5 and 100 still prevails. So the system now, Niamati say, Ubikura say even 10 CD, 20, 50 CD kura, ye charging no e-levy also no. It's illegal, wrong. Because even Emrana and Komode Banshishana na ewo budget num say, oh, afidie ye babe charge e-levy on everything and every amount no. Yanjiantum.
Okay.
You see, still the 100 CD that should be a threat to. We were pushing for 300 or more. Now, so yensanka because the 2.5% VAT now it's going to increase the cost of what? Food items and many other items that have VAT on them. So, say who could with Momo account, the amount of money would also go up. So, meaning, even if they are taking just 1% e-levy, at the end of the day, it's as if say 1.5. So, we think that even the 1% reduction was nothing. That was why Yakutia not putting the threshold, and we succeeded on that one also. Of course, the issue of appointments, we passed some, and then some are still on hold. A judge for now, nominated one to the Supreme Court. 2 have been passed, and 2 are on hold. They will deal with it. Then 3 absentee MPs, issue, is still on hold. It has to be debated. The motion must be moved and debated by the whole House as per the ruling of the Speaker, which many of us agree to. So, and yes, report, then it ends there with the committee. No. In our parliamentary work, no committee's report is final. Okay. Every committee report is subjected to the plenary. So one didn't see why, for this particular one, they were trying to give an interpretation, saying, "Your committee no back up and a year final." If the appointments committee egitum say by consensus say yem pass still they bring it to the House for us to they present a report. People may debate on it, but then we may not vote because it was by consensus. But it doesn't mean say was final and it just went through. No, it's still debated upon. So this one too will be debated on, and the decision will be made by the House whether say omunyina anko ana yemfa ebinimu de enche ho na obi nko ana omunyina so and stay and so on and so forth. No? That will arise in the course of the debate, and a number of bills also came through. Emma drew the conclusion stage. Some of us saw a few other successes. Of course, so the district was elevated to a municipality, and it was a good one.
From district to municipal.
To municipal.
Just the numbers in a dozen.
Well, numbers in a dozen, and we have to defend this strongly at the subsidiary legislation committee level. Henya bibia no cry better than argument. Obi say Mampeni na yes, the Mampeni propose it, but if Parliament doesn't approve and we don't convince Parliament to accept it, and I played a significant role. You can ask the Deputy Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Obiamwa, on that day. I was virtually like the one pushing the CI, and the chair of the committee, Honorable Dominic Ayini, made sure that I was invited because I was particularly interested in pushing for the pre-laying of that CI so that it can see the light of day. So, Mikoho. Minister Nankasa into Miamba, Minister Honorable Dan Kwekubochu into Miamba, it was the Deputy Obiamwa who came. And I answered virtually every question that was thrown by the committee members to convince them, say, Jessica was qualified to be given the municipal status, and that Parliament should not block that the intention of raising Jessica from a district to a municipal status. I said, no, it's not everything the president decides to bring that gets accepted. Maybe our president, the idea, but the parliament feels say, and idea will say, yeah, parliament to me, like the president wished that Yemfa 80 million and found going to the cathedral.
0.5.
Did he get it? No, he didn't, because parliament feels say, and idea. In the same way, Parliament, that committee could have decided, say, no, Jessica don't qualify. We've checked the population figures, we've done this, we've done that. We say, Omunya qualify for municipal status. But we stood on our feet, argued reasonably, and pushed through, and the committee accepted. It was late. After 21 days, a mature, and we have since been inaugurated. And also, for me personally, something good and interesting to me. In terms of parliamentary work, beside a number of questions, and one major ministry that answered so many questions was the rules minister, and he was always willing to also come and answer questions, except that and fault him because he wished he had the funds to be able to build the roads or maintain the bad ones that we are asking him to. Now, so the finance ministry allocated funds now, he cannot do otherwise. What we run in our country called budget,
road minister,
and budget. When him say, even though we call our, we must start getting a different language for our, instead of calling it budget, because you call something budget when the money is sitting there ready and waiting to be spent. But yeah, the idea, with anticipation, say we'll be able to yebenya. So we so you can see we are allocating so much for this ministry. Say sometimes I pity. He is a very good colleague. A friend of, and I have personally engaged him, and especially in my constituency, Abra now yenya problem kakra in terms of the interlock between the role leader near President Mahama Award from Jasikan to Hohwe, and then the Sino-Hydro for now Musubeteki from just the Jasiko runabout heading towards the Dupepe. I have to engage him severally on the floor of the house, and he listened to me. That day with the chief director, the former one, and yet the current chief director.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't resolved immediately. I followed through to the current one, Engineer Abbas Awolobeye, the current we followed through, and finally they saw the reason to get the Sino-Hydro part of the component to pick up that project since has been done. But Nyakano, any Jessica Krum Nankasa acquire or so share me bo. Say Obeshena when I asked him one question, he told me I wanted assurance. He said it's in the process, so that is an assurance enough. That was going to happen in 2022. It didn't happen. But Parliament generally, and I believe that in 2023 we are going to continue to do what is right.
But now can be about budget, no. You're paying for fantasy because you can't know. But I didn't know your budget more than ye seek within ye seek ye know my name, send your work, no. Ye projections. But there be no work as would ye yamana brosana in yae. But Obashana, I buy a budget, say, or pursue D ABL, let's say this year, 205 billion coins Kakrego actually. But I buy projection for grants and revenue is around 143 billion. I don't know your corners are.
Well, I know. I don't understand. Me, say, look, we should be able to get our acts together, identify areas then we communicate clearly to the citizenry. Say, look, this year, you better just maybe 200 kilometers of new roads. We will maintain this number of 1,000 kilometers of roads. Now you are baby, new roads, Then we let the other side know, say, look, for the next 2 years, mu roads, a year then, fire and sign then, enka. Muankasa mumpe some local arrangement to do some maintenance on them. The next 2 years, so now you're about this side. This whole idea of trying every year, now you say you cover babyano, and no kahun bintina, we promise more than we can deliver. So it ends up throwing sometimes your budget out of gear. If you are when your grants now wakwa kobo or wabusia, now at the end call much more difficulties more. And we don't also invest in productive sector. If you are kakrana ebebano, you must invest it in area Eden Fasobe Eden Bebre Untem first before you even think about putting into other areas just consumption. And that NDC did very well. For example, at Wabo Gas Project, Yakabo Busia, Unim say, Afibia SAV or mine over $350 million. Say, Yanyes Jumana, it means that every year you have to spend this amount of money importing fuel and other things to power the power generation plants are or mining. But just because of that one single project, you are saving your miner Sasikan all the way till this point. So we need to also identify areas kakrana ewo hono ya de bekwa akoshe ama ne so aye den abamfaso for omino. But if we decide spreading tin all the time, no, yenya ne so. The same applies to even the local level. Or even district assemblies, municipalities and the rest. Because community BRC yenya bibinting, you want to spread thing. And you be uncompleted school project, uncompleted health project, uncompleted toilet project, uncompleted water project, Now, so what can in our boomanka, it me be half of it. So start with the half that can be completed, complete that one, and put it to use. Ono ye jumano, it would maybe generating revenue to support the implementation of what? New ones. But who's spreading out, sir? Oh, menyaka krana who's spreading out. You are not able to complete any until a drew stage be on your sofa. So it is say, who see die, what shall be biasi, who drew lentil level. Now, what's our cojas, I say for what's our shall be biasi because what he say, BB because so ever. The two lands, we see how could do lentil level. Then you know, unkukru ye. And this unkukru ye cry for so beyond. So if you are cry, we kukru dino crave na. You have to put other fittings in order to be able to rent it out. And this utminya a lot of uncompleted houses around that you not benefit from. Better to complete one, start getting revenue from it, and use the revenue from that completed one to invest in new ones. I believe that this simple, logical way of doing things, it may help us.
I see.
It may help us.
But my question back also has to do with appointment. I am not buying a parliament move to My question is, that Ben Yibi who say I bind the appointee be about more no, but upon vetting no, with ye man kwa any when I going to see that because anytime be no you put to be on hold later you need me to call behind the scenes not ni panafam. That Ben Yibi who say
well, I think Parliament has succeeded in stopping some appointees. Mekai Ebisi under President Rawlings, Ebisi under President Kufuor. I don't remember say Ebisi under President Mills or President Mahama and then current President Akufo-Addo. But Ebisi, you see, very easy when the issue about constitutional infraction.
Okay.
They say, Yakase. Answer na obey minister no, you should qualify to be an MP first. Meaning you should be a registered voter, you should be this, you should be that. Now a ban out say you are not a registered voter. Nobody will pass you through. At the end say you must not hold dual citizenship. And sana ubeba be minister na ube hold some position. Now a ban out say ukra dual nationality. You will not get that position. It's easy to reject somebody on that. But it's difficult to reject just based on what? Competence. Say, maybe Nipa Mampeni Dinabano or you're incompetent. His side will insist that you're paying Nipa Mumuhum say, or you're incompetent. Veti na should say, or you're incompetent. And one, I pay. Because maybe Nipa no or that rule. So we sometimes subject it to voting. Now, the majority side may carry the day. You may have your say, but they will have their day. Ebi ohokra say whip na mbem say ye whippy both sides na ejaya. Ubehuna even some persons from even the other side omo feel say a particular member or who has been nominated has done one good to them or the other and now based on some closeness and now even some other consideration no more nipan. So many things go in there. So it's so difficult per our governance arrangement and architecture. So you're rejecting nipa just based on competence because sometimes we'll be say whose competence? Who are vetting and who competence and now nipa or appointing and the competence. So yours is to vet and then expose the things. Sometimes for the appointing authority to see say nipa here me dey call some ministry me sure say or they know how to handle some ministry and maybe you the appointing authority who to me take the necessary steps to also withdraw. But ebiso also the constitutional injunction on the president, for example, when it comes to ministers, say you majority of ministers, from parliament. So, and at the same time, you must have a regional balance. You see, you majority from parliament, and at the same time have a regional balance. So when it comes to appointing ministers, especially from parliament, who here to meet the constitutional injunction of majority from parliament and also thinking about meeting the regional quota. Fair balance, regional balance. So you see someone who may be average on then Yakwakofan. So we need to also amend some provisions in our constitution. I have always been championing appointing majority of ministers from parliament. Let's free the hands of the president to appoint his ministers.
A constitutional requirement.
A constitutional requirement. And you amend it, now you free the hand of the president to appoint ministers from me. There have been instances where I have even argued that one program, if it means even hiring a non-Ghanaian or a Ghanaian with dual citizenship, you feel say, the expertise to manage a particular ministry and pull the necessary resources for our development. And also, to be able to do that. So Parliament can even be strengthened. Say, according to parliamentary service and a parliamentary worker, MP. We can look to improve the conditions of service of members of parliament rather than turning it to be a platform to get a queen say or executive.
Okay, maybe Obi say Justice Gau. So no.
Justice Gau, yeah.
Yeah, Gau. Or no formally Wojina for NPP as parliamentary candidate for NPP both whole West and whole Central. Now yenim hawa na say politicizing Niema, even issues a court. Now such a sensitive position like a Supreme Court judge. Now we name the background of the NS Yao. Just an idea.
Yes.
Yeah, now you didn't about vetting.
Well, the issues about Nipano, the previous partisanship and the rest, Niyama very easy, Now, Ubebisan questions on it. Truth be told, Bibia Niwa AC Obi Kwine say maybe Nipano in the past, because either say we are contested as MP and our Babe MP Kura Penti unto go to the bench. There's no provision in the constitution I can say will be our survey as MP because MPs yes you were independent and you were or more mobile or your party say work for parliament in the name of the party and either as MPP or NDC into me and you later because you qualify to go onto the bench utumiko mbrabia and see but then say the feeling of the people vetting you and they say we are so partisan to the extent say to me you partisanship in aim free by the nature of your judiciary they may be tempted not to grant you leave to go in. Uko in some jurisdiction they say in America, for example, on Supreme Court, they already know the positions of justices of the Supreme Court. Say, Einumu omutukosi.
Okay.
Einumu etukosi. So they know the Supreme Court is really a political court in many countries. That's why they have a right to even depart from their own decisions and reasoning previously. Ombudsman culture will say voter ID card and birth certificate recognize we are Ghanaian. A few years later, they come back and tell you, yeah, na yekaya, and also there be antisa, all kinds of things. Clear politics in some of these decisions. But of course, are they justified in terms of the process is not mufaya? Yes, they are justified. And will now be open for all kinds of discussions and interpretations and what have you. So, Minjidi say, just by that alone, but it is to what extent has he carried himself, even in the previous representation on the bench. Say maybe Nipano, Obeye, Okoye, Saijumanu, Yadinoko High Court. What were his rulings in the High Court? Maybe Oko Appeal Court. How was he ruling in the Appeals Court before now being promoted to the Supreme Court? And no anybody determine say, Nipe with this background and what he has done, and on your opportunity to serve maybe at the High Court and maybe subsequently to the Appeals Court, this and this and this, so cannot get to the Supreme Court and so on and so forth. So many reasons come in. I know, or no, one of the nominees the confirmation is still pending. Encore through.
Okay. As I say, your time in the cross. So now, what make me issue about is here the presidency feature video more than Instagram why but beer. And I was watching a video to be already.
No craning ya meaning me video no and no pay.
Okay.
And I was shocked. Say ye jai sadia no ema echo so. And I think completely for me it's out of place. Because say we hear the architecture of our presidency. And yet dear we should allow for that to happen. Young Maya, maybe there were a lot of clearing processes and I think it's a total failure and disgrace to us as a country. To shoot a video from the chamber, maybe the auditorium, a Danya, Mampinicia, all kinds of guests and where they speak from and what have you, to allow for that to be done, for me, is the lowest we should get to. Say, even some patriotic music, possibly to mark like Mampiniba or say Mayan Republic Day, Constitution Day, and ye free 1st July to now 7th January. Krana say local artists be some patriotic video to demonstrate how we must hold on to our constitution and blah blah blah. And Rebecca say, it makes some sense. Say we'll peek into the presidency, peek into parliament, peek into the judiciary, and put something together and say, but McMill to come and do here the video now we are in the kind of dressing so for me is a no. It's a no. Ubia or Oma clearance for all those things to happen must be dealt with. Especially not too long ago, one of my journalists, Echo Bluegate, just doing a story to pick some images to make up the story. Look at the way they treated him. Then who permitted? Say, ni paying go through now. Only you see the platform that our president. See, no matter how small your country is, your sovereignty must be respected. Men who say, I'm just my country is a small country. He pay a big rapper now, a big artist who free or maybe a bar, and then he's had big platform. No, don't disrespect yourself that way. Don't disrespect yourself that way. Oh, your mahini, oh, your mahini. Oh, traditional area no cry small. Oh, your mahini.
Okay.
So mahini share also yeah or mahini. Ghana is Ghana, and we must respect the seat of government. Let's not debase it to this level. Both security wise are wrong, both respect wise for me are wrong, and we need to do something better. We should not just be getting an apology, but we must be getting people punished for doing what they did.
All right. Honorable, we are grateful for your time. Yada sepa, Yami Shao.
Me da say so. Ewa Queen I think comment.
Yede besia na Nyame aduma yebesa to aso another day. Yada say Honorable Kofi Adams and Motin nka woyemra shebedwani de maye nuanamo a omo BUEM constituency another wo Oti region. Itene Otifue ya represent live. Sada and share at TBD, Edekwesibo Ache, Elvis Sebiga, and our friends so Prince, Bracon, Omo, and produce show. Nyami at the Mochina, Yaba, near 12 Jumadi, so exactly 1 p.m. Yakramo.
I love Radio Gold 90.5.
Aji, mafuya meya. You say hepatitis. Me to ase, me sirimu. Asa why you be na ekiki me? Emuya meya.
Sciatica, any bone fracture no. You do Power Specialist Herbal Hospital. Dr. Kosio Dia ya betrete.
Sciatica, entini, any bone fracture. Nompemu yare. Power Specialist Herbal Hospital. Ebe show me wahu.
Entemukura. One must specialize was area ropa. Yare ba konso ne saya omomre pa hepatitis B, stroke, diabetes, akumemu yare ahoro.